Monday, March 1st, 2021, and you're listening to Local News Live, a production of AOC Community Media in partnership with the Acadiana Advocate. Their team of journalists print the stories important to our community and state, and we are happy to read you some of those stories. You can hear Local News Live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on AOC 1, the AOC Community Media channel on YouTube, and on Cypress Street Radio at aocinc.org/CS Radio. You can find print versions of these stories and more at theadvocate.com. We couldn't bring you this community service without the generosity of our volunteer news readers. Today, we're joined by Ross Campbell. Welcome to Local News Live, Ross.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for being here to read. I'm going to go listen on Cypress Street.
Okay, thank you, Matt. First article in Acadiana News, the title is Parking Potential. As Downtown Agency aims to take lead on issue in 2021, survey suggests Lafayette parking system less modern than other cities. By Simone Graham, staff writer. Other cities in Louisiana and similar sized cities in the region charge similar hourly rates to park as Lafayette, but many have a more modern system that makes it more user-friendly, a survey shows. The Acadiana Advocate surveyed other cities in Louisiana and 5 cities and states along the Gulf Coast to see how they handle parking amid the current discussion on what is next for parking in downtown Lafayette. Some cities charge $1 per hour, while others, including 3 surveyed in Texas, do not have parking meters, but have more options for surface parking and parking garages. Other cities, such as Shreveport, have easier means of payment through technology, including the Parkmobile app. The topic of parking will be the biggest issue in 2021 for the Downtown Development Association, which said last month it would take the lead on the issue. It spilled over into public discussion when Lafayette Consolidated Government trucked in a plan to double the rates from 50 cents to $1 an hour and increase enforcement to 24 hours a day. Those proposals were walked back by Lafayette Parish Mayor President Josh Guillory days after the initial announcement last month. Parking is a huge perception issue we've dealt with going back to the formation of the DDA in the 1980s. CEO Anita Begnow said, "People were concerned about parking back then. It will continue to be a topic of discussion. Parking is a huge part of the experience of coming downtown. We've got to get it right," unquote. Residents remain confused on the issue despite LCG's decision not to go forward with the measure, she said. Others have asked why the topic was brought up and what an increase in funding would be used for. Revenues from parking meters downtown go to the LCG's parking department, Begnow said, with excess going into LCG's general fund. Data shows revenue collected grew each year from $661,866.75 in 2015 to $840,079.10 in 2019 before dropping significantly in 2020 because of the pandemic. Other cities, including Greenville, South Carolina, and Little Rock, Arkansas, put the money back into the parking system. In New Orleans and Mobile, Alabama, revenues go into the general fund. No cities surveyed enforce parking 24 hours a day. Very few cities in the country do that, Begnow said. In Austin, with its vibrant nightlife, parking is enforced some nights until midnight, its website indicates. Begnow said her agency is pursuing a parking benefit district, a system that would dedicate the revenue collected from parking to be used downtown. Other issues remain, including the Buchanan Street Garage, which is unavailable, and the Vermilion Street Garage, which does not have a working elevator. People have said, "Make it easy to take my money," she said. The technology is lacking and the experience is not great. I think people want to have a better understanding and want to believe their money is going to an experience that makes it easier to park and a nice entryway to come and do business downtown. How other cities in Louisiana and the region do parking. Baton Rouge, population 216,328. Cost to park. City officials recently approved raising the hourly rate from 50 cents to $1, effective July the 1st. Enforcement, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. weekdays. How they do parking. The city also agreed to buy smart parking kiosks that will accept credit cards and offer payment via an app. It will also contract out enforcement to Flowbird, a New Jersey company that specializes in parking and public transportation. It has 11 parking garages with various rates, about 15 surface lots, and a free trolley service that runs about every 8 minutes and has 20 stops. Quote, "The opportunity to make parking a more positive experience for visitors is exciting," unquote, said Gabriel Fickner, Assistant Executive Director of the Baton Rouge Downtown Development District. Quote, "We hope that the more flexible payment options and better turnaround will be an overdue, though welcomed improvement for downtown," unquote. New Orleans, population 388,424. Cost to park, $2 an hour everywhere except the French Quarter, Marigny, Central Business District, and the Warehouse District, which are $3 an hour. Enforcement, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday, free on Sundays. Where the money goes. Into the city's general fund. How they do parking. The city also offers the Parkmobile app to add more time on the meter or pay by phone with a 35-cent fee. It also has 77 garages and parking lots with various rates. Shreveport, population 182,616. Cost to park, 25 cents per hour. Enforcement is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays. Where the money goes, into the city's Parking Enterprise Fund, which funds parking enhancement such as new lots, lot improvements, new meters, curb painting and signage, Downtown Development Director Liz Swain said. How they do parking in Shreveport. Payment can be made with coins or the Parkmobile app. Free parking is available but less convenient, as it could be blocks from someone's destination. There are at least 20 parking garages and 3 are free to park. In Monroe, population 46,266, the cost to park, there's no charge. How they do parking in Monroe. Downtown Monroe has no parking meters and offers free on-street parking. There are also no public parking garages except for employees or privately owned. Lake Charles, population 78,656. In Lake Charles, the cost to park, no charge. How they do parking? Free on-street parking and no parking meters. They have 3 or 4 private garages and parking is by appointment only. End of article. United Way of Acadiana offering free tax preparation. The United Way of Acadiana is offering free tax preparation services through its Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, VITA, program. The program provides low and moderate income individuals and families with free, reliable assistance with filing federal tax returns. There are 12 filing locations participating this year throughout the Acadiana region. Most locations are by appointment only due to COVID-19 safety restrictions. Visit unitedwayofacadiana.org/VITA, VITA, for site locations, opening dates, and to make appointments. If you had a household income below $57,000 in 2020, you may be eligible for this free service. You may also qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit, which could mean additional refunds for your family. Be prepared to bring your photo ID, original Social Security card, or ITIN, all W-2s for 2020, and any other tax-related documents. For additional resources, visit myfreetaxes.com to learn more about alternate free or low-cost filing options currently available. The VITA program is just one way the United Way of Acadiana is working to help individuals and families achieve and maintain financial stability. Learn about additional programs by visiting unitedwayofacadiana.org. In more Acadiana news, UL to begin random testing. COVID-19 screening will be mandatory, by Ken Stickey, staff writer. The University of Louisiana at Lafayette will begin mandatory random COVID-19 screening for faculty, staff, and students starting Monday. In a message issued Friday, Paul Thomas, Associate Vice President for Administration and Finance and Chief Human Resources Officer, said the measures are, quote, part of our continued efforts to prevent transmission of the virus and keep students and employees safe, unquote. Thomas's message was sent to faculty, staff, and student workers. His email said the Dean of Students, Margarita Perez, would also initiate a similar testing program for students. Information about student testing was not immediately available. Quote, every Monday, beginning March 1st, Human Resources personnel will randomly select faculty and staff members and student employees who are working on campus for COVID-19 testing, unquote, Thomas's message said. Campus spokesman Eric Maron said testing will involve about 100 people a week. Thomas said faculty and staff testing would work like this. If someone is selected for testing, the Office of Human Resources will notify them via email Monday in the week of the test. The person selected will have until 3 p.m. Friday of the same week to report to the testing site on campus, which is at the tent in front of the Edith Dupree Library on St. Mary Street. Notice that the person has been selected will include a release form that will allow UL to access his or her test results. An immediate supervisor will also receive an email notifying them that the employee has been selected for testing. Moran said the university established safety protocols in response to COVID-19 that were based on Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and Louisiana Department of Health recommendations. Quote, through the cooperation of faculty and staff members, students, and the general public, these measures have been effective in creating a safe learning and working environment, unquote, he said. He said testing is just one of the many strategies the university is using to protect employee and student health. Quote, in addition to testing, the university is expanding its on-campus vaccination efforts, Moran said. Faculty and staff will be polled next week to determine the number of vaccines needed for on-campus administration. It is not in response to any change in the campus's current positivity rate. To the contrary, it's meant to ensure that those rates remain as low as they have consistently been. Only 9 positive tests were reported on campus last week. They included 6 students who self-reported their positive COVID-19 tests, 1 student tested on campus, and 2 confirmed faculty or staff cases. Positive tests on campus since January the 4th, 2020, total 808. 196 confirmed students, 475 self-reported students, and 137 confirmed faculty and staff. Next article is Bingo Game to support Black-owned businesses. Acadiana Group creates month-long initiative by Megan Wyatt, staff writer. Although Black History Month has come and gone, an Acadiana Group is hoping to keep Black-owned businesses top of mind this spring with a game of bingo. Shop Blacklisted is preparing to launch a month-long challenge called #BlacklistedBingo that will encourage Acadiana residents to support participating businesses for a chance to win cash and gift certificates. "We created the name," said Shop Blacklisted co-founder Karnina King. "But the idea is not anything new. It's been going on in other places like Dallas and Atlanta. They've had real successful bingo games." King created Shop Blacklisted in 2015 as a Black business directory and network for Black business owners. She recently has been looking for additional ways to support businesses aside from Shop Blacklisted's website and app. Quote, "We want the community to support Black businesses not only during Black History Month," King said. "We want the community to see supporting Black businesses as a lifestyle, not only in times of trouble or when people are boycotting bigger companies and things like that. Supporting Black businesses strengthens and empowers the local community," unquote. #BlacklistedBingo has a simple concept. Anyone can pick up a bingo card at a participating business or download a card at the event's website to participate in the game, which runs March the 15th through April the 16th. After completing enough squares to score a bingo, a player can enter a weekly drawing for $100 cash and gift certificate prizes. There will also be a final drawing at the end of the month-long event for $500 cash for all players who have blacked out their cards. King is recruiting businesses to participate in the game, which she's hoping to bring back regularly after the inaugural event. Each business can decide what kind of task a person must complete for its bingo square. It could be purchasing a breakfast at a restaurant, spending $10 at a shop, or even liking a business on Facebook. "We want to make it to where people can actually win a bingo," King said. "We want to make it fair to where the participants can actually win prizes," unquote. Businesses pay $150 to participate in the bingo campaign. It's free for anyone to play the game. Learn more at blacklistedbingo.org. End of article. Museum of Black History gets $5,000 donation to stay open. This is the next article. Pandemic brought financial troubles to Opelousas facility by Megan Wyatt, staff writer. Wilkin Jones nearly closed the Rural African American Museum forever last summer due to financial troubles tied to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, his modest Opelousas Museum has received a lifeline in the form of a $5,000 donation from Hancock Whitney Bank. "We were born in the Gulf South, and preserving the region's history is very important to us," Hancock Whitney Senior Regional President Robert Schneckenberger said in a statement. Quote, "When we heard about the financial challenges Mr. Jones was facing to keep the museum open, we felt we had to help," unquote. Jones has depended on grants, donations, fundraisers, and volunteers since opening his museum 27 years ago. Because he doesn't charge an admission fee at the museum and cultural center, Jones relies on those sources of income to cover the cost of rent and utilities at 1414 North Main Street in Opelousas. Planned fundraisers were canceled because of COVID-19 restrictions on gatherings. Pandemic precautions also resulted in fewer visitors and fewer donations at the museum. Quote, "I'd hate to take all this down and put it in a storage room or something," unquote, Jones said during a June interview. Quote, "I love my little museum. I'd hate to close it," unquote. Jones, a Vietnam veteran and retired school teacher, said he found few other funding opportunities at a time when so many were suffering. After announcing last summer that his museum might be a COVID-19 casualty, the community rallied around Jones to ensure he could keep the doors open. About 1,500 people visit the museum per year to learn about the often overlooked history and culture of Black residents in St. Landry Parish. The museum's exhibits cover events from about 1865 to 1965. Mr. Jones's collection gives us a tangible look at a century of African American life in St. Landry Parish and builds awareness of the history, community identities, and ways of life that have influenced culture and opportunity in Acadiana and the Gulf South for generations, Schneckenberger said. "We are honored to join other local people and organizations in doing what we can to help Mr. Jones carry on his good work at the Rural African American Museum." The museum doesn't just showcase exhibits about Black homes, schools, churches, businesses, music, sports, and agriculture in St. Landry Parish. It also highlights Jones's own story. A flyer near the entrance advertises a wanted slave who ran away in 1859. Jones said the subject of the flyer was his great-grandfather. Jones traced his family's history while traveling to African countries of Kenya, Senegal, and Ghana, where many of Louisiana's slaves came from. Quote, "I've dedicated my life to our history and culture," unquote, Jones said. "The Rural African American Museum has given me the opportunity to educate and share our ancestors' history with our local community. Seeing a young adult's reaction to the museum and our ancestry reminds me why I want to make this museum alive," unquote. Jones said the recent $5,000 donation will help to cover basic bills as well as expand exhibits at the museum. It could also help future generations learn more about their own community. "If you know where you come from and you know where you are, you know where you want to go," Jones said. End of article. And Today in History by the Associated Press. Today is Monday, March 1st, the 60th day of 2021. There are 305 days left in the year. Today's highlight in history. On March 1st, 1954, 4 Puerto Rican nationalists opened fire from the spectators gallery of the U.S. House of Representatives, wounding 5 members of Congress. On this date, in 1781, the Continental Congress declared the Articles of Confederation to be in force, following ratification by Maryland. In 1893, inventor Nikola Tesla first publicly demonstrated radio during a meeting of the National Electric Light Association in St. Louis by transmitting electromagnetic energy without wires. In 1957, The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss was released to bookstores by Random House. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy signed an executive order establishing the Peace Corps. In 1966, the Soviet space probe Venera 3 impacted the surface of Venus, becoming the first spacecraft to reach another planet. However, Venera was unable to transmit any data, its communication system having failed. In 1971, a bomb went off inside a men's room at the U.S. Capitol. The radical group Weather Underground claimed responsibility for the pre-dawn blast. In 1974, 7 people, including former Nixon White House aides H.R. Haldeman and John D. Ehrlichman, former Attorney General John Mitchell, and former Assistant Attorney General Robert Mardian, were indicted on charges of conspiring to obstruct justice in connection with the Watergate break-in. These 4 defendants were convicted in January of 1975, although Mardian's conviction was later reversed. 10 years ago, Yemen's embattled president Ali Abdullah Saleh accused the U.S., his closest ally, of instigating the mounting protests against him, but the gambit failed to slow the momentum of his ouster. And 5 years ago, in the Super Tuesday primaries and caucuses, Republican Donald Trump won Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Vermont, and Virginia. Ted Cruz won Alaska, Oklahoma, and his home state of Texas. Marco Rubio won Minnesota. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton won Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia, while Bernie Sanders prevailed in Colorado, Minnesota, Oklahoma, and his home state of Vermont. And 1 year ago today, health officials in Washington state announcing what was believed at the time to be the second U.S. death from the coronavirus, said the virus may have been circulating for weeks undetected in the Seattle area. Earlier deaths in the Seattle area and in California were subsequently linked to the virus. And in today's birthdays, actor Robert Clary is 95. Singer, actor Harry Belafonte is 94. Rock singer Mike Diabo from Manfred Mann is 77. Former Senator John Breaux, Democrat of Louisiana, is 77. Rock singer Roger Daltrey is 77. Actor Dick Benedict is 76. Actor-director Ron Howard is 67. Country singer Janice Gill, aka Janice Oliver Cummins, Sweethearts of the Rodeo, is 67. Actor Catherine Bach is 66. Actor Tim Daly is 65. Singer-musician John Carroll is 64. Rock musician Bill Lean is 59. Actor Brian Batt is 58. Actor Maurice Bernard is 58. Actor Russell Wong is 58. Actor Chris Eigman is 56. Actor John David Cullum is 55. Actor George Eads is 54. Actor Javier Bardem is 52. Actor Jack Davenport is 48. Rock musician Ryan Peake of Nickelback is 48. Actor Mark Paul Gosselaar is 47. Singer Tate Stevens is 46. Actor Jensen Ackles is 43. TV host Donovan Patton is 43. Rock musician John Wolstenholme is 40. Actor Joe Tibbet is 39. Actor Lupita Nyong'o is 38. Pop singer Kesha is 34. R&B singer Sammy is 34. And pop singer Justin Bieber is 27. The zodiac readings. Pisces, February 20th to March 20th. Help those who have helped you, and you'll gain respect and a better relationship with people you can count on. A change of plans will allow you to spend more time with a loved one. Aries, from March 21st to April 19th. Keep moving forward. Seek out people who can help you make a professional change. A partnership will lead to a new opportunity and a chance to fulfill a long-term goal. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. Consider every angle of a situation before you speak up. Getting your facts straight and keeping your emotions out of the equation will help you navigate your way through a tricky transition. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th. Concentrate on gathering knowledge, making preparations, and reaching out to people who share your interests and goals. Look for opportunities to stabilize your finances. Cancer, June 21st to July the 22nd. Focus on gaining ground financially, professionally, or contractually. Having a plan in place that will separate you from the competition is crucial if you want to advance. Romance is favored. Leo, July 23rd through August the 22nd. Don't let someone talk you into something that doesn't fit your schedule. Discipline, education, and partnerships with people who share your beliefs and concerns will be necessary. Virgo, August 23rd through September the 22nd. Take care of your responsibilities before you move on to guilty pleasures. You'll enjoy your downtime more if you have nothing hanging over your head. Libra, September the 23rd through October the 23rd. Make a point to get things done, even if you face distractions. Refuse to let anyone push you around. Don't let anyone push you around or take advantage of you financially or back you into a corner. Scorpio, October 24th through November the 22nd. Look over your choices and use what's available to come up with something original. Fixing up your space to suit your needs will encourage you to work hard and think big. Excuse me. Sagittarius, November the 23rd through December the 21st. Call on acquaintances to help you start pursuing a goal. Keep anyone who tries to interfere at arm's length. Prioritize your plans. Capricorn, December the 22nd to January the 19th. Refuse to let your emotions take control when discipline and facts are required. Approach your peers and family with direct questions, and don't be afraid to voice your concerns. Aquarius, January the 20th through February the 19th. Take care of money matters and problems that involve institutions swiftly and with proper documentation to avoid future setbacks. Don't trust anyone to do the work that you're responsible for. And that was a horoscope. The horoscope is an entertainment feature and not based on scientific fact. Okay, we have some state news. First article entitled "Winter Storm May Have Slightly Delayed Strawberry Season" by Paul Cobbler, staff writer. Recent freezing temperatures may delay the peak strawberry season, but fans of the red, juicy berry grown in the region can still rejoice because production isn't expected to be badly affected by the cold. Temperatures in Livingston and Tangipahoa parishes, an area with many of Louisiana's strawberry farms, reached only the low 20s, allowing many strawberry plants just starting to produce ripe strawberries to avoid the worst effects of the cold, said Mary Helen Ferguson, a horticultural agent at the LSU Ag Center in Tangipahoa Parish. While the most cold-sensitive part of the strawberry plant, the bloom that produces the strawberry, is injured at 30 degrees and colder, many farmers use row covers to insulate the plants from the cold that are effective as long as temperatures don't drop too far into the teens, Ferguson said. Growers who had their two covers on their plants were likely able to save most of their blossoms and fruit, Ferguson said. Those who just had one cover on plants likely had some injury to open flowers, but flower buds that weren't open yet, and fruit itself would have fared better. Dale Corona, who owns Corona Farms in Independence, said there was minimal damage to his strawberry plants, and things should be back to normal on the farm in under 2 weeks. Quote, "Now we just need some warm weather, need a little time to recover," unquote, Corona said. "We had very little damage, but still, they went through a lot just like everything else. It put stress on the plant and whatnot. So this week of warm weather is really going to get us back going." Temperatures fell to as low as 20 degrees last week at the farm, Corona said, but a double layer of the row covers over the plants can hold as much as 12-degree temperature difference between under the cover and outside. A low of 21 at Fletcher Farm in Ponchatoula also caused some damage to the strawberry plants there. Roughly 1/3 of the blooms and 2/3 of the red strawberries still in the field were burned by the cold, farmer William Fletcher said. What's going to mean for us long term is that the onset of strawberry season proper, where there's lots of availability, is going to be a little later, Fletcher said. We're going to be a couple of weeks behind on getting started instead of getting started big. Fletcher described the strawberry plant as a conveyor belt that is constantly producing blooms that turn into green berries, which turn into the red berries that they sell. While the cold weather was a setback, strawberry season at Fletcher Farm should be in full swing by early April, Fletcher said. We should have the prettiest berries of the year for Easter, and there should be plenty of them, Fletcher said. Both men said they felt lucky that temperatures never dipped into the teens, which is what was forecast in the week leading up to the winter storm. That 3 or 4 degrees really helped us, Corona said. We only got to 20 degrees, and it was a blessing because of it, because if it gets below 20, we can expect more damage. Fletcher said just 7 degrees colder would have, quote, reset the clock, unquote, for strawberry season at his farm. He said, I had some sleepless nights last week because you do what you can do. You take some preventative measures, and then all you can do is lay in bed and wonder if they're working, Fletcher said. In the next article, 1,500 nutria down, 398,500 to go. Revived event takes aim at marsh-devouring rodents by Tristan Borick and Sophia Germer, staff writers. It was a bad weekend to be a nutria in South Plaquemines Parish. About 1,500 of the invasive marsh-devouring rodents were shot and killed by a small army of hunters who descended on Venice on Friday and Saturday for the parish's newly revived nutria rodeo. Let's go shoot some rats and save the environment, gave McCormick, the rodeo's organizer, said Friday as teams of hunters revved their airboats and took off into the sprawling marshlands at the mouth of the Mississippi River. The contest attracted about 200 hunters from across the Gulf Coast and as far away as Iowa. Cash prizes were given for the most kills and the heaviest single nutria. It was the most fun I've ever had, said Jimmy Rhymes of Biloxi, Mississippi. We felt like we did our public service. Imported from South America nearly a century ago, nutria have thrived in Louisiana at the expense of the state's fragile coastal marshes. Nutria gnaw away the roots of plants, leaving little to hold the landscape in place. More than 13,700 acres of coastal marsh were damaged by nutria last year, and more than 40 square miles of the coast have been converted to open water in recent decades, according to the State Department of Wildlife and Fisheries estimates. Nutria are one of the many factors contributing to the rapid land loss along Louisiana's coast. The major causes include oil and gas exploration, sea level rise, soil subsidence, and the loss of replenishing sediment since the Mississippi was brought under control with levees. The state offers a $6 bounty for each nutria tail, but last year's total of 246,000 represents only 1% of the state's nutria population and isn't close to the number of kills needed to curb the animal's explosive growth. We're aiming for a 400,000 harvest amount, but we're usually getting only about half that, said Jennifer Hogue Manuel, manager of Wildlife and Fisheries Nutria Control Program. The state has been unsuccessful in reviving interest in nutria fur. Efforts to promote nutria meat in New Orleans restaurants have also failed. McCormick, a Mandeville native who runs a medical cannabis farm in California, sees nutria damage all over South Plaquemines during frequent fishing and hunting, duck hunting trips. He said, they eat all the plants until there's no shore, just a drop off, he said. That lets in the salt water and it kills everything else. The shutdown of Mardi Gras festivities and the dearth of things to do amid the coronavirus pandemic spurred the rodeo's rebirth. The rodeo had been an annual Venice tradition until about 10 years ago. Me and a couple of friends wanted something fun to do and started talking about doing the rodeo with just our group, McCormick said, and then it started evolving and growing. McCormick ended up fronting $8,000 for prizes, t-shirts, and other event costs. He's okay with not getting much of his money back, but he plans to seek sponsors and other support next year. By early Saturday afternoon, only about 400 dead nutria had been piled on the Venice docks, giving McCormick a twinge of worry that his event might be a bit of a bust. But then they started coming in and really unloading, sometimes 200 nutria at a time, he said. It was something else. Most hunters worked in groups of 4. Teams with airboats can glide over both water and marsh. They had a clear advantage over other vessels. A team led by a Venice hunter who prefers to be known only as Captain Stinky earned the $500 prize for the most kills. Their tally of 200 nutria was partly thanks to Stinky's familiarity with the area. He's a legend down here, McCormick said. The heaviest nutria, which earned the $1,000 grand prize, weighed in at just over 20 pounds. She was a fatty for sure, McCormick said. Capping the event was an evening nutria toss. Contestants grabbed a carcass from a pile and let fly. The winning throw cleared 93 feet. Nearly all the nutria are heading to Audubon Zoo, where they'll keep the alligators and the other animals fed for a long time. McCormick pledged to organize a rodeo next year and may add some new events. A nutria meat cook-off is a likely future addition, he said. Even with 1,500 nutria no longer breeding and eating in South Plaquemines. Hogue Manuel said the rodeo's body count doesn't make a lasting dent in the state's ever-growing nutria population. But she added the rodeo may have value if it gets more people thinking about the health of the coast. She said it is a big issue we need to address. Hopefully, events like this get people interested in the problem and understanding the damage nutria cause. In sports, the Cajuns complete a weekend sweep. UL's Robertson, strong pitching provide winning formula over Rice by Kevin Foote, staff writer. The formula is beginning to look familiar, and UL coach Matt Deggs wholeheartedly approves. His Raging Cajuns got more solid starting pitching, and put up just enough crooked numbers to complete the weekend sweep of the Rice Owls with a 6-3 win Sunday at Russo Park. It's always about getting the tone on the bump and being able to match their guy, UL coach Matt Deggs said. Then us finding a way to reach base, execute, and get big hits, and especially big two out hits. And then lean on that bullpen. The Cajuns improved to 6-2 with the win and will return to Russo Park for a rematch with Louisiana Tech, 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Rice fell to 2-4 with the loss. Offensively, Deggs warned everyone listening that center fielder Tyler Robertson's offense would come eventually. After a big homer to get the weekend going Friday, Robertson was back at it again with a 2-run homer in the 5th for a 2-1 lead. It felt great, Robertson said of the homer. I fouled off 2 fastballs and got 2-2 and spread out a little bit. I was sitting fastball, hoping he'd throw something over the plate. He threw, I believe, a cutter, and I left it over, and I put a good swing on it, and it got out. He then played a role. Robertson then played a role in UL's first of 3 straight 2-run innings with an RBI single in the 6th. I just stayed with the approach Deggs gave us. Hunt fastballs. Get on top of it and adjust if they leave something over the plate, said Robertson, who got his batting average up to .250 with a big weekend. I feel like I did that pretty well this week. I'm just going to stick with that approach that I feel comfortable with. I'm just happy that we got the 3-win sweep. Josh Cofield came off the bench to deliver the other RBI single in the 6th inning. Cofield can hit, Degg said. He's got a real steady demeanor, meaning he doesn't get too high or too low. He's always ready. I thought that was just a huge at-bat today. The damage in the 7th began with a Carson Roccaforte triple before Bobby Latta's RBI double and a Drake Osborne sacrifice fly for the 5-run cushion. On the mound, Carter Robinson pitched into the 6th inning, allowing just one unearned run on 4 hits, 2 walks, and struck out 4. Obviously, Carter gave us just a great start, just absolutely a great start, Degg said. You know, I venture to say he's better this year. He's got a year under his belt with us, or half a year. He's just a really good pitchability guy that is great to Sundays, because you're going to have to beat him. He's not going to give it to you. Take away a few silly walks at the end there, and he gives them nothing. You've got to be able to string together hits to beat him, and that just doesn't happen very often. The bullpen was solid behind him, other than Guy Garabay's two-run home run in the 8th that cut UL's 6-1 lead to 6-3. After that, Jeff Wilson pitched a shutout inning, and Jacob Schultz came on for the 7 with 2 strikeouts in a perfect 9th inning. Anytime you win and then string wins together, obviously it's going to build confidence and it's going to give you a lot of expectation, Degg said. I think that's the most important thing, expecting to do great things and expecting to win no matter what you're doing. Our attitude right now is to get it done. I've seen that from the first pitch of the year through eight games. Next game is UL at Louisiana Tech, 6 p.m. on Tuesday. And the location is the J.C. Love Field in Ruston, Louisiana. In funerals today in the Acadiana area. Alton Begnow, Martin and Castiles, LaFleur de Lee Chapel in Lafayette at 2 p.m. Patricia Bro, Fountain Memorial Funeral Home and Cemetery at 1010 Pandora Street in Lafayette at 11 a.m. This has been the local news, live for March the 1st, 2021. I have been your reader, Ross Campbell. Join us at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on AOC 1, Cypress Street Radio, or the AOC Community Media channel on YouTube. You can read these stories and more at theadvocate.com and find out how to volunteer and more at aocinc.org. Bye-bye now.